All right, at 7 o'clock, we'll call the regular village board meeting to order. If everyone rise to say the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The clerk would please call the roll.
Marevka. Here. Jones. Here. March. Here. Parker. Here. Ham. Bowden.
Here. At this time, I'd like to recognize the Peotone Boy Scout Troop 315 who are here with us tonight. And I think some of the members of the troop are going to come up and have a seat with us here at the table and participate with us at tonight's meeting. So if you want to come forward and take a seat, guys. No.
So they can put another one here if they want.
Just make it so. Steve. Nice to meet you. So maybe what I'll do is, since we've done our roll call here, I'm go around the table and let you guys introduce yourselves to the board.
I'm Kane Ramirez from Troop 315.
I am Michael Schleiper, also from Troop 315.
My name is John Swinford, also from Troop 315.
I'm Drew Schmartz. I am also 315.
Hi, I'm Billy Tyler, SPL of Troop 315.
Now, what's SPL?
Oh, Senior Patrol Leader.
Okay.
Basically, the mayor.
Ah, there you go. Nice.
I'm Landon Hanson from Troop 315.
Jack Allen, Troop 315.
Kevin Cash from Troop 315.
Well, welcome, guys. All right, so we'll continue with our meeting here. We'll go to approval or corrections to the minutes of the February 25th, 2019 regular village board meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes as presented? If not, a motion to accept as written.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Jones, seconded by trustee Bowden.
Jones.
Yes.
Bowden.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
March.
Yes.
Marevka. Present.
Accounts payable and payroll, pay period ending 2/23/19 in the amount of $49,671.24. Accounts payable, general fund, $78,792.62. Motor fuel tax fund, $25,763.75. And water sewer fund, $21,961.85, giving a total of all funds $126,518.22. Are there any questions on any of the bills? So that's just a copy of all the bills, the payroll, and all the bills. If not, a motion to pay the bills and pay the payroll.
I'll motion it.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Marevka, seconded by trustee March.
Marevka.
Yes.
March.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Bowden.
Yes.
Public comment and or questions on any non-agenda item.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Felix Romo. I moved to Peotone probably about 10 years ago. Graduated through the Peotone School District. Since then, I now work as an industrial engineer. Like many, I watch the town hall meetings on YouTube now pretty regularly, and I saw some discussion on the use of the aqua proceeds from the sale for the Peotone Police Fund. I looked at the records in detail, pretty in detail for the state of Illinois, and I know there was a lot of questions by the board. I feel like not many were answered, so I had some sources. Unfortunately, I didn't print those out, but I did print out some sort of forecasting. So I'll just hand these out to the board members real quick. Front and back forecasting on the use of the proceeds, how it would look. The top left corner is the assumptions I made. Some are conservative, some are, fortunately I don't have it. You're very welcome. But I know there's talks to sort of let the fund or pitch in some money to let it diversify some. But I thought that we should sort of go beyond that and use probably around $4 million from the proceeds to fund the police pension. So I had a copy for myself. And I apologize, I didn't realize the Boy Scouts were going to shadowing today. But, so, top left corner, like I said, they're the assumptions I made for the forecasting. The asset annual increase at 5%. So, like I said, I looked in detail here at how those assets are currently being used right now. As discussed previously, it's at about $1.4 million. So 85% of the $1.4 million are in a certificate of deposits. 15% of the $1.4 million are currently in mutual funds, and they're bringing in around 2% annually. And again, these like I said, I don't have the sources printed, but I could provide that to any of you via email. So like I said, I would strongly urge the board to look into possibly funding more than previously discussed, probably about $4 million. With that additional funding, it'll be a difference of about $81,000, and of course that compounds annually, rather than the taxpayers having to come back and pay that later on the road. And one of the sources that I had, they talk about the amortization that we should be paying. So it should be around $360,000 annually. We currently are paying $181,000. Broken down, that's $107,000 from the tax levy, $45,000 from the employees, and then another $40,000. It looked like we put in $40,000 additional for the fiscal year of 2017. So that's where I got some of my numbers up top. So $107,000 for the tax levy, employee contributions. These numbers don't display any additional funding. With the annual expenditure there at $152,000, with the $4 million coming in for the year of 2019. The column to the rightmost percentage column, that's our percentage funded. So as you see, 23% for 2018, and now, based on previous discussions, we're at 21% funding. So with the $4 million, depending on what side you're on, like I said, front and back, one side is $4 million, one side is $2 million. With $4 million, we would be at 88% funding for 2019, and then through 2040, we'd be at 80% based on the assumption that we're going to be annually putting in $152,000. The reason I went all the way to 2040 was I looked into one of the public acts that was passed. So it went along with it was in 2011 when they passed Tier 1 and Tier 2 for the pension. There was a part of that act that listed that the fund would have to meet 90% funded by 2040. And with the $2 million that I had on the other side, we'd be pretty far behind. We'd be $10 million behind by 2040 if we only invested $2 million, which I obviously don't think we should do. One thing I think the board should look into is the actuarial cost that we have here. So the actuarial cost is basically our liabilities. That is like the fourth column over. It seems pretty volatile, 15% increase, 21% increase, 33% increase, 25% increase. Again, that's all the liabilities that are assumed, basically. So the way the defined benefit plan works is they multiply it times 30 years, 2.2%, whatever they do, plus all the other benefits that they get. So I compared this data closely with Mantino's. They're currently at 92% funded rate, and they seem to be much less volatile than our numbers are coming in, and it didn't seem to sort of cope with the data I was looking at for Peotone. So with us having 8 employees, 3 retired in 2016, Mantino had 18 employees working for them, and their actuarial cost was at $7 million, where ours is at, during that same period, $5 million, and we have half the force. So I just think it was one of those things we might want to ask the pension fund, or whoever the spokesperson for that fund is, to see how those actuarial costs are estimated. Because those numbers are really important in these estimates here, and then we could then better look at what kind of increase we're going to see for the pension. The reason I think it's really important for us to invest money here on the front end is because it's sort of like, the pension is sort of like a loan, right? So it's increasing 7% every year. That's not a good loan to have. Unfortunately, those are the cards that we're dealt, but we want to get ahead of that so we can have something to compound at that rate. I put in here 5%, being because we want it to be low risk, right? Along with this, we also probably want to make sure, I'm not sure how or what the check is for whoever's running our funds, but I would just make sure it's going through the board. Once we have that much money in there, right? So how much are we putting in CDs versus mutual funds? So.
Appreciate the information, appreciate your insight.
Yeah, not a problem.
Thank you.
Was there an email I could find online or through any of you that I could send the sources? I think that's good information.
Was it info at, Donna?
I'm sorry?
Email the general info at the Village of Peotone.
Send it clerk@villageofpeotone.com.
Okay, phenomenal. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for the information.
And info works too.
Yeah.
Just sometimes that jumps over into junk mail.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, any other public comment on non-agenda items? Okay, we'll move on to reports of committees, the Village Administrator report.
Well, speaking of numbers, we are in the process of our budget, and as you see in my report, we had an Administrative Oversight Committee meet on the 6th to review the first round of the draft budget. We will be going into executive session tonight just to talk about employee salaries, and we'll be looking for approval of the budget on March 25th. So we'll continue to work on the budget for the 2019-2020 budget year. We have a few, I have a few economic development updates for you. Just the Peotone Corner Cafe open. I don't know if any of you had a chance to go and visit it yet, but it was an existing cafe, and it has changed ownership. So it's closed on Mondays, but open 7 to 4 under new ownership. And I just wanted to point out that there was a good presentation, and some of the trustees attended at Bolt Field, and it was an economic development presentation by that the chamber hosted, and the Kankakee Economic Development Council put on a really nice presentation about some of the large businesses that are expanding in Kankakee County and that could potentially be impacting our area. So it was eye-opening. It was a good presentation. I thought they did a really great job putting it on, and just something for us to be mindful of as we move forward in our planning efforts. We're interviewing TIP consultants as we speak. We interviewed one last week. We'll interview one this week as we look at the I-57 corridor area. I included in my report for you as we talk about the hotel and travel center project that you've been hearing about. kind of a meeting schedule and a progressive progression of that project, kind of where we are in that process with rezoning issues and annexation. So I included that schedule in there. So we have next on that, for that project schedule, it'll be going to planning and zoning. You heard the concept plan. Mr. Patel came in and introduced that, the concept, and showed you some drawings and let you know what was happening with that. So now we need to take it to planning and zoning, and we'll look at rezoning it, getting a recommendation for rezoning. We'll be looking at rezoning for property that's just to the south of it, so that the project property can become contiguous to the village of Peotone. And we'll look at a special use for the project site. And then we'll look at a preliminary site plan review, all at Planning and Zoning Commission.
That's March the 27th?
That will be March 27th at 6 p.m.
The
That's
P&Z meeting?
At P&Z, yes.
P&Z, it's Wednesday,
Yes.
Wednesday, March the 27th at 6 p.m.
Yes. So we'd also still like to, we'll be talking about another potential P&Z project down the agenda. So we're going to do a Public Works, a bid opening tomorrow for the new Public Works building. For that general contractor work, we're going to do bid openings tomorrow for that at 10 a.m. And then just lastly, I included in your packet just letters that I sent to Will County Governmental League and South Suburban Mayors and Managers. That's where our funding flows through for some transportation projects. And so we would just like to get on their radar for the capital bill and make sure that they know about what shovel-ready projects, infrastructure projects that we have as priorities for us. And we'll go into more detail with Public Works Committee at their next scheduled meeting. But they have deadlines, and we want to make sure that we get our information into them. And so I wanted you to be aware of what projects that we're submitting to them to potentially get on lists. And so whenever any money becomes available, we can say, yes, we're on their radar screen. So that's what these letters are for. So upcoming committee meetings, with the Administrative Oversight Committee, their next meeting is going to be on April 3rd at 5:30, and Department of Public Works Committee meeting has a meeting scheduled on March 21st at 4 p.m.
All right. Any questions for the administrator?
How many bids did we get for the Public Works building?
I don't know. We're gonna open. Do you have a sense of how many came in? I know you gave a lot of tours and you got a lot of phone calls.
Maybe 4, maybe 5.
Okay. So we'll have a bid opening at 10 o'clock. There'll be sealed bids. So we'll make sure they've got everything that we need from them as far as
Meeting the qualifications?
Yes.
Good. Any other questions? All right, no police chief's report tonight, engineer's report.
Just last meeting, I was asked about Aqua and, doing any water main improvements on Corning before the roads resurface later this summer. And I contacted them. I haven't heard back yet, but I believe we're going to kind of be in some more talks with them in the next couple of weeks. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
and actually I've got a meeting scheduled with them for Thursday afternoon to sit down and have a conversation about some things too, so. I'll talk to you about that.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Streets and Alleys Manager, Robert Hinkey.
Thank you. A few things tonight. First of all, brush pickup starts April 1st.
April the 1st.
Next thing I have is Amy put together with some local administrators the DPW local directors, supervisors got together, talk about issues we may have in our communities as far as problems with drainage to, streets, just stuff that comes up as far as projects, et cetera, et cetera. What they want to do is Creek, Beecher, and Peotone. We've been talking about equipment. Since we're on the east side of Will County, we don't get the funding like Naperville, Plainfield, those communities. So what we're trying to do is put something together where we can do an equipment swap. If somebody needs something we have, we can loan it out if not in use. But they would be responsible for repairs and maintenance, things like that. So it's good to put some faces together. I've been in this business 20 years. A lot of the guys I know, a lot of guys are new. So it's good. It was real good. We went to Moni, sat around the round table, talking about different issues, so it was real good. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to meet once a month, get together. We're going to do like a rotation. We'll go to Beecher, come here, treat, and then, we're good.
Good. I think in cooperation with the surrounding communities is incredibly important. And if we can pool resources, I think that's a huge benefit.
Another thing, it's good too if if something really bad happens.
Right.
We're all on the same page, so we know how to respond together. So what I have next is actually some good news. Not that wasn't good news. Arbor Day Foundation, names Peotone Tree City USA. For the second year, the Peotone Public Works Department is proud to announce that Peotone has been named 2018 Tree City USA by the Arbor Day Foundation for our commitment to effective urban forest management. Tree City USA communities are recognized for meeting 4 requirements set forth by the Arbor Day Foundation that reflect a strong commitment to maintain the urban scape. Number 1, having a tree board or department, a tree care ordinance, and a minimum $2 per capita annual community forestry budget. And number 4, an Arbor Day observance and proclamation. So real good.
It's awesome. Very good.
So as long as I'm doing this, I'll keep doing this, and real good.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations to you too. Thank you. Any questions for Bob from the board?
So I guess just make sure we put the Arbor Days. I mean, that's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I think did they send the proclamation along then too? I think, or is that part
for
of
the
that?
upcoming Arbor Day? That's coming up next month, right?
Yeah, what we do is we print it off, Steve, and then we.
Yeah. So we'll put it on the next agenda though.
Yes.
It'll be on the next board agenda.
And we can do a press release if you want to,
Yeah.
like closer to Arbor Day, something like that.
Definitely.
And we'll plant a tree.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. I know AOC met on the 6th. Did you want to give a report of that? Trustee
Sure.
March?
Marcy presented kind of our first draft of next year's budget, and we had a good discussion. One of the things that the board's going to have to decide is whether we want to fund the police pension fund at the level that the actuary recommended. The last couple of years we have not. I know there was Trustee Ham and Bowden and myself kind of question if we could somehow get that in the budget this year. There's not a whole lot of fat in the budget. Marcy, our treasurer, said that a lot of the funds that used to come from the water department that used to help pay for certain things in other departments. You know, we don't have that anymore because we sold that asset. And so until we can start making our, the $12.5 million that we got, until we can start getting that to make more income for us, there's not, a whole lot of extra in the budget. So one of the things, we are going to have another meeting in April to, just brainstorm a little bit what we want to do with that 12 million, whether we want to tie up part of it in a longer term investment so that we can get a better investment rate out of it. Right now, we're just earning 2% on that, which is about $250,000 a year. And we're hoping that if we can maybe get 3 or 4% on something longer term, that it would help the budget in the future. But on the other hand, we want to try to maintain a little bit so that if something, be a little more liquid and a little bit of it, so that if something comes along with economic development, we'll have it there. So that's a discussion we're going to have in April. But like I said, so Marcy kind of revised the budget after we had that discussion, and then there's going to be some more tweaking to it. All the trustees should have a copy of her kind of proposed budget. Obviously when the packet comes out for the next meeting, and so I encourage everybody to take a real good look at it and come ready with questions at the next meeting.
And I think what I'd like to do, and I think what we talked about a little bit, I definitely would like to put that into the discussion on the committee of the whole, prior to the next board meeting. But we'll definitely get that information out ASAP, so you have plenty of time to go over it, look at it. We'll talk about it at committee of the whole. If there's any questions or, any reason why we're not able to adopt that budget formally that night, we'll just have to have a special meeting, a few days later, before the end of the month, to make whatever tweaks we need to make, and then have a special meeting to adopt it. I didn't mean to step on you, Peter.
No, that's okay. Like I said, it's just, we've got some big decisions to make, and, we do have this liability, the police pension fund out there, and we've got to make some decisions on how we're going to deal with that across the board. So.
Good. Anything else? Thank you. All right, no old business. Move on to new business. Item A, Peotone Boy Scout Troop 315, permission to canvass the village, distributing and retrieving donation bags for Helping Hands, March the 30th through April the 6th, 2019. We actually had a discussion about this at our last meeting, and the board agreed in principle, but this is just the formal action to approve that. Unless you had anything to add to this one.
No, not that.
Okay, all right, very good. So a motion to approve the canvas by the Boy Scouts.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Marevka.
March.
Yes.
Marevka.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Bowden.
Yes.
All right. Number 2, permission to canvass the village to sell pancake breakfast tickets, beginning April the 22nd, 2019 until the week of May the 5th, 2019. And we have a letter here. Honorable Village President and Board of Trustees, the Peotone Boy Scout. The Boy Scouts of Peotone Troop 315 will be holding their annual pancake breakfast fundraiser on Sunday, May the 5th, 2019 at the Peotone American Legion Hall. We respectfully request permission to appear before the board at the March 11th meeting to request permission to allow the Scouts with adult supervision to go door to door in the village of Peotone and sell tickets. These dates will be April the 22nd and 29th as a group. Also, we request permission for the Scouts to sell on their own around town until the week of the event. The cost of the tickets will be $6 each. Children 5 and under will be free. The breakfast will be served from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. Included in the price of the pancake breakfast will be pancakes, sausage, biscuits and gravy, muffins, and danishes. Beverages will include milk, chocolate milk, orange juice, or coffee. Carryouts will be available. I should have made you read that.
Do-over.
See? Darn it. Do you guys have something you wanted to add? Step on up.
Everything he had on his notes is everything you just.
I did not mean to steal your thunder. I'm sorry. You're welcome. Did you guys have any of the Boy Scouts up here have anything to add to that? How long has that pancake breakfast been going on? You know how many years?
I already just joined about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I would like
At
to
least
find
2 years,
somebody to
right?
Answer that question for me.
For me,
How many years has it been going on?
About 32 years.
Because I know we're.
As long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 32.
Very good.
What do you need
That's
to
about
it?
30 years.
So far I was born.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
That's so moved. Good.
All right. Second.
Kicked us out yet.
Second.
All right, motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Jones to approve the canvass of the village to sell pancake breakfast tickets by the Peotone Boy Scouts on the dates stated.
March?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Maravka?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Item B, proposed text amendments to village zoning code, section 91.09 and 157.190B.
I thought you might have.
Now I'll let you do that one.
This is coming out of, we're asking you for permission to let us take this to the planning and zoning on March 27th. Basically, the village will be the petitioner. We don't have a petitioner, but this comes from and stems from the Devonshire project that you saw last board meeting, where it was the wedding venue with the horses. That project might be on hold for right now. However, we still would like to move forward with the text amendment to the code, which would allow, right now, for a planned unit development or a PUD is only allowed in residential zoning district. What we would like to do is amend the zoning code to allow a PUD in any zoning district. The Devonshire project would have been and would be wherever it would be located in B3, and we would like to have it be a PUD or a planned unit development, and so it would need, we would need to amend the zoning code for that to happen. And so, however, with any other project that might come down the line in another zoning district that would maybe be better suited as a PUD, we would like to go ahead with the amendment to the zoning code to do this text amendment. Am I making any sense, Mike?
You're doing great.
Did you have anything to add?
Just about, we also had a change regarding keeping livestock. So there's a prohibition on keeping certain livestock in the village, but we want to add an exception for horses where they are specifically approved by the village board as part of a planned unit development or as a special use in a non-residential district. Again, just to be prepared in the
Right.
event. So any keeping of horses would come before the board through those mechanisms.
I did have a question, because I watched the last one I missed. My only question was with the horses, and I don't know if you guys can answer this or she can answer it. Is she going to have the horses in the carriage just on her property, or is it going to be coming from like one of the churches in town?
More than likely.
And then going out there?
I think the way it was presented, more than likely just on property.
Okay, because I kept thinking, how is she going to get on
Right. I
Wilmington
mean, if we
Road?
ever got to a point where they would want to come from a church to the venue, you know, we would have to work out the logistics of that with, you know, with the police
That
department.
was the
or
only
traffic
question I had
control.
about the horses. I was like, oh,
But
I don't think I'd want them on Peotone
Pardon me?
Road.
County road?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think her plan was just being able to
Have it there
have
for
it
pictures
there on
and-
the grounds, pictures, and coming to the door of the venue,
Okay.
you know, in the carriage.
Okay. That was my only question about that.
Did you have something else?
That's your motion.
Oh, thank you.
I'm trying to be subtle.
That's okay. I appreciate it.
See, one thing, by allowing this, are we opening
can we evaluate the livestock on a case-by-case basis?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any precedent set that would require us to put them somewhere where we don't really want them, just because we put them somewhere where we did want them?
No.
Strictly case-by-case?
Yes.
And it's
Okay.
just horses.
The facts of each instance are going to be different and distinguishable.
Okay.
Because you know people will be coming up with their chickens and their
Well,
pigs and.
and this is just horses, no other animals whatsoever. It's just horses would be the only animal that we would be allowed to be considered. Everything else would be prohibited. And, I mean, and to answer your question to another a mechanism to, in a special usage, you can add conditions. And so if you wanted to add a condition that would say that the horses would have to stay on property, you could add that as a condition under a special use permit.
Okay.
Just, as a matter of course.
Right. Any other questions or discussion? If not, I would accept the motion to authorize the village administrator to forward the board's requested application for text amendments to section 91.09 and 157.190B of the zoning code.
Motion it.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Marevka, seconded by trustee Jones.
Marevka?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
March?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
All right, questions of the press?
Can I have that?
Okay, thank you. Anything else for the board, from the board?
Has anybody turned in that flashing streetlight across from All Automotive?
I don't know.
It's been doing it for about 2 weeks.
What's
It
the-
comes on and then it goes off and comes on.
Is that Main and First Street?
Yeah,
Main and First?
yeah.
Okay.
And I think we should make that a police duty when they spot those things, because obviously Public Works is not out at midnight or 1 in the morning.
And I know often they do, report those, but we'll have to find out if that one's been turned in or not, Main and First Street.
And then I had 2 people approach me last week. That ditch across Joliet Road, just south of the fire department.
Okay.
When I say ditch, that big
Pothole thing.
divot in the road that goes all the way across. I mean, you hit that thing going 20 miles an hour, it throws you out of your seat. And I know we've talked about that before, and it's a county this and that and the other. Personally, I don't care who, what, why. That needs to be fixed. I mean, I invite everybody to go out there, hit that thing going 20 miles an hour, and if you don't do damage to your car, you could, I mean, it's horrific. Somebody's responsible.
Right.
Let's just-
And I know that we need to contact the county. I mean, it is a county road. And
Yeah.
I know.
Fire department has.
All right.
Squeaky
Well,
wheel, let's get going.
yeah, we will do it again.
What was,
Or maybe we just have to fix it.
Right in front of the.
Well, I don't think we
right in
have
front of
the-
fire station.
Authority to go onto a county
It's like-
road
No,
and,
we probably don't.
almost like
If we
Right.
don't,
no, I know. We'll work with, we'll
It's like-
follow up with the county though first. We'll take that step first.
Because it's all the way across the road.
Anything else? Okay, if not, I need a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the village.
motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Jones, seconded by trustee Bowden.
Jones?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Marevka?
Yes.
And March?
Yes.
So we will be going into closed session. When we come back out of closed session, we will come out and simply adjourn. There will be no action. So I want to thank the Boy Scouts for joining us tonight. And do you guys have any questions before we
Thing, how's that? Okay. And then probably do a quick check.
duck out?
From Glaze still. but-
For what you guys were just talking about, the pothole, would the public be able to do anything?
No, that's something that's probably outside the scope of, an individual's abilities.
I was just saying,
No.
if you guys couldn't get to the the county, you could
Right.
always like as a civilian, I don't know, rent some stuff
Yeah,
to fill
no,
it.
we got to go through the proper channels.
All right.
But
I don't know
appreciate
if
the
they
thought.
want to complain to the county, that might help.
There you go, yeah,
Your
public can
civic duty.
complain
Turns
all they want,
calling.
absolutely. All right, well, thank you guys, and we will adjourn to closed session.
Steve, on behalf of the Boy Scouts of Troop 315, appreciate you letting us come in and sit at your board meetings. These kids have good idea of how meetings are held for the villages. Now, we like to try and get this done during the boys and the village board meeting in conjunction with Boy Scout anniversary, which is in March, February of every year. Boy Scouting is celebrating 109 years of scouting in the United States. So every February is our anniversary. So this should have been done last month with you in conjunction with Boy Scout anniversary, but we were pretty busy with our schedule too. We appreciate you letting us come in and sitting on this.
Anytime.
Thank you very
Anytime.
much.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
It's a pleasure.